What's up, friends? I got a quick update for you that really surprised me while I was in the middle of getting ready for some other videos. Let's get into it. Alright, so before I show you more of the detail of what was behind me, I just want to discuss this. Been in the process for like 2 years of recording B-roll of every ship, making sure that I fly and test every ship so that I can give my personal opinion about which ones are the best value for those of you who have a little bit more money to spend but not as much time. Again, this is like the gamer dad channel. If you're somebody who's like, I'm just gonna like spend all my time in gaming, get all the in-game currency, and then buy whatever I want, don't tell me that. I'm just gonna start with 0 to hero. Then like, this ain't for you. This is not for you. So before you just go in the comments and you're like, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about. You're like, this, maybe you're not the target audience. For everybody else though, I hope that this is really helpful because it's really important. I thought it was a big deal and I haven't heard anybody else covering it. I was searching Reddit to see if I was just crazy. But long story short, I jumped into the game. I have been starting my bounty loop. I'm up through like medium bounties. Because you guys know I hop on for like 45 minutes to 2 hours max at a time because that's just what my life allows. Burnt through a gladiator, just like ran out of missiles, like was kind of torqued, and when you're just in a flight suit, like who cares, just let it blow up, go back, respawn your other ship. You guys know how I do that. Went back to go get my arrow and it wasn't there, and I just kind of sat there and was like, what just happened? What is going on here? Turns out there was a root cause to my problem. CIG, in their infinite wisdom, has decided that the freelancer no longer needs to have a loaner vehicle. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, again, this is gonna be a little refresh because I think this will help set up my next really big, long, like all ships comparison video. Let's go through these main points that CIG lays out here. And I wanna really read from the CIG website. Other, like Wiki, and other websites are not updated. This was updated 4 days ago. This is new info. I'll be releasing this ship hopefully today or tomorrow so that it's like really up to date. For me, this is kind of like, dude, you can't just take $75 of value off the table for somebody without replacing it. So there is a little bit of heartburn for me. Do I still think the Freelancer is a good ship? I do. Is it still better than the Cutlass? I'm not sure anymore. That was always the clear decider for me. And now we got to go back to the drawing board a little bit. Regardless. So, concept of ship loaners introduced to players who owned a game package and a single ship to play the game when that ship was unavailable. So that's how it was introduced, right? So loaners for each ship are not intended to be a one-for-one best case substitute for the ship. Are not intended to be a one-for-one best case substitute for the ship that isn't ready to fly. They are just the best approximation. Let's give like one of the ships I'm interested in, for example, Crucible, Constellation Andromeda. These are not even like remotely similar to each other. This doesn't fix ships, doesn't have space to carry other ships. It's like they're not at all the same. Honestly, I feel like the Carrack is probably a better approximation for the Crucible. The presence of a valid game package is required for loaners to be granted to an account. That's kind of standard. The only other way you can play is Arena Commander. I don't know why they're being like tricky on that one, but whatever. If a new ship becomes flight ready and is a better substitute, the loaner will be updated. Due to the current restrictions in Arena Commander, certain ships have a secondary loaner to allow them to play in all game modes. The one that I found that was interesting here, so like the Arastra owners receive an arrow, which you'll see here, Prospector, Mole, Arrow. But you don't, for Prospector, the Prospector doesn't come with a loaner. So you can't, I mean, you can technically use it. I guess it has guns on it, but like Arena Commander requires all ships to have guns. The only other ship that definitely doesn't have guns that are pilot controlled is Retaliator. So you're still getting your Gladiator. Retaliator still remains best value in the game. It went through a rough patch there. Let's not lie to each other. And it still is a little finicky. The Casa Torps, this patch is is rather extremely ridiculous. 400k for a torpedo is like, come on guys. But you got to earn your way up to it. You can do cargo missions in it. You can still get a group of friends together and man turrets. All that stuff still exists. Do current restrictions, secondary loaner. Here, okay. These are not permanent additions to your fleet. This, I don't remember this being on here before, but that's the thing. Unless it's an included vessel, which I do want to go over because this does matter. Included vessels, snubs, fighters, and rovers. Updated 9 days ago. It's like, hey, we knew this was going to happen, so here we go. For example, the UEE Exploration 2950 pack includes the following ships. Carrack Expedition. If you upgrade this to something other than a Carrack Expedition, you will no longer have access to included craft. So you have to have the Expedition variant in order to get the Pisces snub and the Ursa rover. Obviously, I would want the like Carrack X or whatever, the one that gives you the better versions of these. The C8X Pisces Expedition, a standalone ship that can be upgraded. Which is like, again, why I hate that these two things exist in the universe. So whatever. Cyclone, Terrapin, Dragonfly Black, Freelancer Dark. Depending on the parent, blah, blah, blah. Below is the table of over the currently announced ships that contain an included vessel that grants a loaner in-game. Okay, so just a lot of these are like the jumper ships to help you get into them, or like an attached ship or whatever. So like the 600 gives you the G12, which is currently the Cyclone. Hopefully they come out with that at some point. The 890 Jump gives you the 85X. The Carrack gives you the Pisces and the Rover. The Carrack with the 8C8X gives you the 8X and the Rover. So this is the one you want. The Carrack Expedition with the C8X. Like if you're gonna buy one, then buy that one. Like get the ship that's actually good. This one is a separate one. It doesn't like come inside the ship when you spawn the ship. So it's something to just keep in mind. You have to like claim it separate, fly it into the ship, bing, bada, boom. Constellation Andromeda, the Aquila, the Phoenix, and the Emerald. All of these have the ships mounted to them, plus an additional loaner ship. So that's kind of an interesting feature about these ships, which make the Constellation series like really quite good. That might change once they stop being so buggy. I just spawned my Aquila, for example, and the Merlin just wasn't attached to it. So that was annoying. Especially since I was actually flying with my brother for once and he wanted to use it. But you get the Ursa rover with the Aquila. You don't get anything with the Andromeda. And then you get the Lynx with the Phoenix variants and the Archimedes. And then Idris's give you that MPUV personnel, and then the MPUV cargo on the Javelin, right? So this is it. These are the ones that are like, you pledge this ship, you will get these ships from now until eternity. Clearly, the loaner ship matrix is not that way. And I would say that is something that hasn't really been fiddled with for a really long time. But I also won't say that it was something that I fully expected to always stay the same. So I'm not gonna like create a bunch of drama out of nothing, but I do think that there needed to be a little bit of a heads up. And that was not provided here. And this is, I don't think anybody has covered this as information. And I just lost access to, I can't remember how much the Arrow pledge is. I think it's actually 90, might be 75, 80. I was getting mixed up because there's like a war bond in there and you got to kind of factor that in. Regardless, at a minimum, it's like $70 worth of value. After I paid real money. So little frustrated. You could save $10 and just pledge to Cuddy Black. I'm not going to lose my mind over it, but I am going to give some advice on like, okay, well, let's do this instead. Okay, so we will get to that. Loaners will not stack. You will never receive more than one of each loaner ship, regardless of how many are allocated based on the ships in your hangars. Example, owning 4 Pioneers will not grant you 4 Caterpillars. So just keep that in mind. I had a time where I had like 2 tallies because I had like gotten a deal on it and I was waiting for the Constellation to be cheaper. Although it did work then, so who knows. But, it's been updated. Something to bear in mind, if you have multiple concept ships that grant the same loaner, you will only receive 1 loaner for them all. For example, if you have a whole A and B, you will receive only 1 freelancer as the loaner. RSI support cannot swap loaners by request. Okay. Should not expect up-to-date ship loaners on the PTU. That's fine. Honestly, like I'm in live. I don't do PTU because that's whatever all the other streamers do. I try to play like the game that most people play. All right, let's get into this stuff. Freelancer used to have an arrow. It's no longer there. So what do I recommend instead in the short term? For those of you who have listened to my advice and are really angry, well, number one, the Retaliator is still a really good deal. Right now, it's actually up for War Bond. I would just upgrade to the Tally, personally. I know it's a few extra bucks, so you don't have the money to spend. Obviously, don't spend it. But it's still a really good deal, and the Gladiator is a far superior ship to the Arrow. Better hit points. The missiles just make it so you can crash through a few bounties really fast. It is the ultimate dad, I only have 20 minutes to play ship. Like, you drop a size 5, boom, you kill the other ship, you're done. Good night, go home, no questions asked. So that's the thing. Some other things to kind of think about. If you just want like an Aurora MR, pledging a ground vehicle is a good way to get one. If you have them gift you a ground vehicle, they will not give you an Aurora, which is kind of annoying. So if you have like a referral code that gets used, just know that that's what happens. So you can see here the SRV, the STV, the Storm variants, X1, like all the ground vehicles basically come with some version of the Aurora. Looks like the Mantis comes with the LN, the Lynx, the Fury variants, because you need a ship that has quantum. You can't just be stuck. I guess I don't really know how they justify these ones so much, because like, you know, you're buying a ground vehicle. I guess it just is so they can plus up the value of the ground vehicles and not feel so bad. That's always been in my mind how they justify it. It's like, oh, well, you can't be stranded, so we have to give you an Aurora. So if you like want to buy a ground vehicle for pledge value, know that it comes with an Aurora. So that's the thing that happens. Let's just show the Cutlass Red comes to the Apollo, and then it's on some of the like the healer ships. You're not getting the black doesn't come with anything. The Nomad comes for the Pioneer, but it doesn't come with anything. The Avenger Titan you'll get with the Nautilus. So these are some of the, like the more classic ships. To reference other big streamers who do, so like I really like Subliminal for PvE, and I really like Avenger 1 for PvP, right? So I think that they are kind of considered two of the best reviewers. They do a really good job of kind of analyzing the ships and ranking them. Their favorite ship last patch, and granted this is always subject to change, blah 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 blah, but I think that the Buccaneer will always have a place you can get for these ships. Do with this what you will. The Corsair was like nuked to oblivion. I wouldn't bother getting it. It was cool when they released it. Everybody wanted to pledge it. I transitioned away from that to an Aquila as soon as the Aquila went up, because I knew that that's what I was going to want. If I could go back in time, that's kind of a tough choice. I think the Aquila will still be the better choice in the long run. It's going to have more gameplay loops. The scanner in Pyro is going to be cool. Blah, 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 blah. But for the current meta, man, the Taurus is looking real good right now. Just having an integrated tractor beam to like yank stuff off of other ships after you do bounty missions, really awesome. But not having to change out the lasers on the Aquila, the bubble dome is a lot better, so I would still stick with that personally. But know that like if you're upgrading, if you're kind of stuck in this in-between spot, the Taurus is a really probably my best. If you're gonna get a ship and you have some money to spend, the Taurus is probably the best all-around bang for the buck as a solo pilot, or if you have one friend. So you can get a Buccaneer though off a Caterpillar, Corsair, Kraken, which is ridiculous, don't buy that, and a Vulture. So Vulture is gonna be my kind of like, that's the ship you're gonna want to get, okay? Pledge value right now is 175, so it's a little more expensive, but you're getting a Buccaneer with it, which I think the pledge value is like 125, and might be like 100, 110. Either way, best fighter in the game. So you're getting a really pretty good combined value there. You're able to do 2 different types of gameplay loops. You don't get any cargo on a Buccaneer. That kind of sucks. You do on the Vulture though. So you could technically still do some cargo missions in that. There is no base game with the Vulture, so you'd have to buy like a Mustang and then get the Vulture. So you could instead maybe just get like a whole A. I'm pretty sure you can get a whole A as a base game package. Maybe I don't know. You make your own decision on what you get for base game package. I'm not going to make a whole lot of commentary on that. Honestly, just get like whatever the cheapest thing is and then upgrade your way into something else. It's like what you do is you get a base game. So my base game package now is a Retaliator, and then I upgraded my way into it. So you just decide how you want to do that. Just know that it's really hard to melt that value again and to get it as LTI value, because you have to wait for them to release a base game package that has LTI value. So do with that what you will. The more and more they're talking about these like insurance and how your claim and insurance claims and stuff, it seems like LTI is actually going to matter. Vulture, Buccaneer, awesome value. I would say the Gladiator, also awesome value. Redeemer's too expensive. You just don't get a lot of other like arrows here. Arastra's too expensive. The whole B maybe could be another good option for you. The arrow just has kind of fallen from grace a little bit. And all the other Hornets are all Mark 1s. Right? So all these, like the Liberator, the Idris, the Polaris, the Raft. The Raft will probably always keep. Now it does have, it has pilot control. Well, I'm trying to remember. I think either the Raft or the SRV doesn't have pilot controlled weapons. So if you want to feel more confident in like, oh, I'm going to be able to keep that, no pilot controlled weapons are going to do that for you. Terrapin, Valkyrie, they all have pilot controlled weapons. So, and I just don't think the Hornets are all that great. There used to be more Super Hornet pledges though, too. I will tell you another one that I used to recommend was the Hurricane. The Hurricane definitely had a Super Hornet pledge, as did the Scorpius. Both of those have been removed. So they did a giant culling here. A lot of people lost their pledge vehicles. And that, to come back to my very first point, I think the biggest loss here is that the freewheeling that players are doing when glitches are encountered or their ship gets injured and they just don't want to pay for the refueling and the repairs is to just like die and then go claim their other ship and then put it in an insurance claim timer on the ship they were using while that one is worked on. And that's coming to an end. So yeah, some big changes here to the game, honestly, for people who have pledged ships. If this isn't you, again, no stress. But if this is you, please leave me a comment down below. What did you pledge? Did I miss one of your ships? Do you feel really frustrated here? Did you feel like, this was kind of coming? A little bit of mix of both? Are you thinking about changing your pledges? Are you worried that they're just going to take away? Like, I worry personally for the Vulture. Like, the Prospector doesn't have one. Technically, the Vulture still has 2 Badgers. So I kind of am worried that they're just going to take it away. But I'd rather have, like, I would really like to have one of each type of ship as a pledge so that when I get on, I can just, like, go do my gameplay loop. Especially when I'm, like, streaming and reviewing stuff. I just need to be able to go and do each gameplay loop without needing to like stress out about it too much. So yeah, I'd love to hear all of your opinions on that. Until next time though, friends, good luck out there, have some fun, keep on gaming. Bye for now.